Hi everyone, how to become good at anything. Today we're going to talk about that. Who am I? I'm a 25-year-old entrepreneur. 4 years ago, dropped out of becoming a professional plane pilot because I didn't want to have a boss and created my own business, generated 6 figures last year alone for my business. And over the course of the last 4 years, I've learned so much. I've learned so much about myself, about other people, about the market. And so I'm making this video as a reminder for myself, really. So I never forget about how simple the process is in order for me to reach my potential and become better at whatever I choose to become better at. So let's get straight into it and stay until the end because I have something for you. So how to become good at anything? The number one thing that prevents people from achieving their potential usually isn't lack of action, lack of, the time investment into what they are doing. It's not all of those things that most people are blaming. From what I have seen, the number one reason why people do not achieve what they want is because they are ignorant. They don't know what they don't know. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to give you an example right now. Let's say you want to start doing content, which is what I do myself right now. So this is a real life story. You want to do content, and so most advice that you hear online is you want to do content, then just go for it. Just do some content and post. Post as much as you can. Whilst I agree with this advice so far, I disagree with one thing. And this one thing is that posting content, the volume of content that you post isn't the sole KPI that you should follow if you want to become better. What I mean by that is you might post 1,000 videos, but maybe you will maximum have 50 views on one video. You've done the content, you've done the volume, but you don't have the upside. What is missing? What is missing is I don't know what are the other variables that would make me successful. Give you an example. Well, posting content is one thing. Nothing will happen if you don't post content. But what about the thumbnail? What about the title? What about the description? What about the storyline? What about how you market also your video, your content? And there's a whole bunch of other things. What about the market? What about the ICP, etc., etc.? And so for someone who would just start posting content, they have no idea. They don't know about those KPIs. In other words, they don't know what they don't know. Why is this an issue? Because if you don't know all of the variables that would make you successful, if you do everything well, then you won't be able to, use them or become better at them because you are just ignorant. You are ignorant about the real game that is in play right now. Does it make sense? I really hope it makes sense. And so being ignorant and not knowing what it takes to become successful is usually what is preventing people from succeeding, because if you don't know what it takes, then you probably won't do what is required in order for you to succeed. What is the solution now? The solution is quite simple. Go in some sort of AI model, chatgpt, Claude, Grok, whatever it is that kicks it for you. And you go there and you ask AI about your skill that you want to develop. And you ask AI about what are all the variables that would make me good at that skill. And you can even give the example of content to give extra context to AI. You say, for example, when it comes to content, it's not good enough to just post, but you need to think about the thumbnail, the title, the storyline, the hook, all of that stuff. Tell me what is required for me to be great at skill, sales, cooking, being running, whatever, gym, eating, whatever it is. This will give you a set of variables. And now you have all of the X's, you have all of the unknown that you need to become better at. And then what you do after that is you have a list of stuff that you need to become better at. For example, when it comes to content, I need to be good at posting. Okay, I'm good enough at posting. I know I can post every day. Good. What else? The other variable is the thumbnail. I need to analyze the best thumbnails. Let's watch a couple tutorials. Let's think about what could be a good thumbnail and why. Same thing for the hook. Same thing for the storyline. Same thing for the description, the title, etc., etc., etc. And at this point, you just need to work until you reach your results. But the good part is, if you have access to all of the variables that would make you successful, now the only thing between you and success is yourself. It's your action and the degree of right iterations that you are prepared to implement. So you're going to post content, you're going to have feedback from the market. How many views did I get? Did I get any subscribers, etc.? Oh, it didn't work. But I worked on the thumbnail. I did work on the title. I did work on all of that. But it still doesn't work. Well, what's the only reason it doesn't work then? I'm not good enough. Or the market doesn't care. So now I need to position myself in a better way. And as long as you have access to all of the set of variables, then, it's quite simple, not easy, but quite simple to succeed, because now you know exactly where to find the solutions. Most people don't have this. Most people think that by just posting a couple videos, they will achieve something, without knowing that actually the way that the best players are playing the game is through all of those sets of variables that are really important. I'm going to give you another example right now when it comes to sales, for example. What is important when it comes to sales? Well, one thing, for example, is having a good offer. Another thing is to have the right tonality, to have the right sales process as well. Ask the right questions. If you are in B2B, talk about ROI justifications, for example, if you sell to a business owner, right, that cares about profits and revenue. And there's a whole bunch of other things, even the camera that you use, the background that you have, all of that, it all plays a role. Even sleeping well when it comes to sales. It has been proven that if you don't sleep well, you're going to sell less. This has been proven because they've put those rings, that track the sleep patterns on some sales teams, and they've seen that the best closers are the ones that are sleeping best, or are recovered the most because of sleep. All right. So anyways, sleep is also one variable. Have all of the variables through ChatGPT or any other AI and identify those variables, become better at each one of those variables, create some kind of improvement plan for you to become better at, creating a thumbnail, title, hook, all of that stuff. If it's about content, if it's about something else like sales or cooking or whatever, then think about the other variables. And from there, just work until you become successful, essentially.